One of the things that we hope that you get out of this meeting is that metastatic breast cancer is changing. The landscape is changing. It's not what it used to be. And there's a lot of things that you can do to help. If you were diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer in 1996, the National Comprehensive Cancer Network issued its very first guidelines on how oncologists should treat metastatic breast cancer. As you can see, there are about 6 things that they had in their toolkit. They were basically the same things that they used for early stage breast cancer. Nothing new. That was in 1996. Some of the statistics that you see on the internet about lifespans after metastatic breast cancer diagnosis include patients who only had these treatments available. Once they used up their options, that was it. It was a pretty grim time. So what's changed since then? We've had the Human Genome Project that was discussed earlier. We've learned a lot. In fact, maybe we've learned too much sometimes about the human genes, because sometimes you can get too granular. We've improved the tools and technologies used in laboratories. Think about the things you heard about Dr. Gray talking about. Did you see all that equipment up there that he had up there, that they use today? That wasn't available in 1996. In fact, it's not available in a lot of centers today. That's kind of edge stuff. A lot of money gets invested in technology, and a lot of people think, well, you need to really invest in breast cancer cures, but you have to have the technology to get the cures, and that costs a ton of money. And we have to have that technology because we can't make breakthrough discoveries on yesterday's technologies. We've learned that more treatment isn't necessarily better. In 1998, my first treatment plan included a bone marrow transplant in a clinical trial. I spent 3 weeks in the hospital after harvesting bone marrow or bone stem cells from my body. I went through extensive around-the-clock chemotherapy to take my immune system down to about nothing. And then after that, my stem cells were infused back on me, and I immediately threw up. And I slowly recovered. About 3 months later, it was reported that this procedure was no more effective than standard chemotherapy. We learned that we do not have to bombard the body to get results. We have new targeted therapies. They've been developed like Herceptin and Ibrance. Ibrance wasn't around 5 years ago. Some of you were part of clinical trials back then, or some of you have been on Ibrance for a while. Who's been on Ibrance more than 3 years? Yeah, a few people. And it has been effective for many, not all. More and improved clinical trials have been introduced with those living with metastatic breast cancer. And even now we're working to improve that inclusion so that more people can be included in these trials. And finally, the metastatic breast cancer community is slowly waking up. In fact, it's kind of going fast right now. And we're saying, don't ignore stage 4. So in 1996, we had about 6 tools in the therapy kit. Today, there are about 60. You can see that line in the middle, 2018, that was last year, that's all I had the data for. We had about 60 FDA-approved therapies for metastatic breast cancer. So you can see that it's pretty confusing sometimes, particularly for oncologists who treat multiple types of cancers to stay on top of what's happening in the breast cancer community. But at a quick look at clinical trials, it shows that we have over 100 new metastatic breast cancer therapies that are in test. Not all of them are going to get approved, but we should have more in our toolkit. And as Dr. Lawson talked about earlier, that not all cancer cells are alike, so not all 100, even if 40 get approved or 20, they will not necessarily be effective for you, but they will probably be highly effective for a certain population, and we're always trying to figure out which population that would work for. But we need to keep important funding funneled into metastatic breast cancer research and to help researchers study the things that are important to the metastatic breast cancer community. And you can do that by being an advocate. And as you can see, the word advocate means to give voice. And it's about giving and voice about the entire community, not just about your own cancer. Telling your story is always good, but when you're an advocate for the community, you need to think about everyone and what their situations are. And it can be challenging, but it's important to channel our passion around this community. So how do you become an advocate? You're an advocate just by being here today, whether you're learning things for yourself or finding new resources, because at first you really have to take care of yourself. You can't take care of yourself until you take care of other people. And there's all kinds of ways to be an advocate. You can support other patients locally. You can act as a liaison between doctors and family members, trying to help them figure out what the heck that doctor just said to that patient and what kind of questions the patient should have for the doctor maybe next time. You could do that through one-on-one. You could be a telephone helpline coordinator or a peer match volunteer. You can help raise money for metastatic breast cancer research. You can help determine how the research dollars are spent. You can help educate others about the disease and treatments. You've learned a lot of stuff today here. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit on it? Are you going to talk to your doctor about it? What are you going to do with it? You can moderate social media sessions, and you can focus on legislative issues, because there's a lot of legislative issues around healthcare that are really difficult for us to manage in the metastatic breast cancer community. But the first thing you need to do is to get educated. And in your folder, there is a list, and I don't think I have a copy of it up here. Does anybody have that? Of resources that you could use. They're local resources and online support. I have my email address at the bottom of that, so if you want that in electronic form, Ambrosia has it up. If you'd like that in electronic form, send me an email and I'll send it to you. That way you can just click on the thing and not have to type in all those weird numbers. If you'd like to know more about the science of breast cancer, consider participating in the Komen Advocates in Science program or National Breast Cancer Coalition's Project LEAD, which is happening in July in La Jolla. Has anybody been to Project LEAD in this room? A few people. Okay, Project LEAD is a great way. It's kind of like taking what Devin talked about today, and exploding that into 4 days. So really understanding what the heck is going on with breast cancer. There are a lot of free online webinars that are live, and some are recorded that you can see, and that can help you learn more. And we hope to have more meetings like this throughout Orange County to help you understand more about what you're facing today, and also so you can support other people. I know a lot of us are not able or ready to advocate beyond ourselves, and that's particularly true for newly diagnosed or those who need to change therapy plans due to progression, or those who have had several disappointing rounds of different treatment that just isn't clicking. And that's fine. Think about the word involvability. Be as involved as you are able. We need your voice. We need your voice now. We need your voices in order to make sure that we continue making progress. It's amazing what can happen when like-minded people get together and get educated and push for change. At this point, I have the honor of introducing Ambrosia Lopez. She's the Director of Mission Programs at Susan G. Komen, Orange County. In this role, she oversees the implementation and evaluation of the affiliate's mission, so what Komen really wants to do, their programming. She's like a Swiss Army knife. You know, if you think about a Swiss Army knife, she does like everything. But this conference would not have gotten off the ground without her unwavering vision and support. Please join me in recognizing Ambrosia and welcome her to the podium for closing remarks.
I think what we're doing today is that we're growing our little plant. You know, we're listening to you, and we planted the seed today, but it's only the beginning of what we need to do to really address the needs of this community. So I want to thank especially my partner in crime. Can you guys all stand and give her a round of applause? Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you're not welcome. But thank you. And thank you to all of you in the room who believed in our mission, who we heard loud and clear that we weren't doing enough. And all I want to tell you all is that Susan G. Komen Orange County is committed. We're listening. But you need to come to us and you need to share, because if not, we don't know what you're thinking. And we're a small staff, small and mighty, and I want to thank my staff for really, you know, putting this on, and all of the Komen team. But we need your help. We need people like you to join our advisory groups to help us create this conference programming, to really help us address what is the next vision, what is the next level. But it's not only Komen. You know, we've knocked on the doors of all our hospital systems, our community partners, and they all responded. They sent us the best experts they could find. They supported financially. They supported, you know, in really getting you here and helping us promote this conference. So I just want to reiterate that we're very excited to begin this endeavor. For you to come and know Komen, you know, we're not only about survivors or early detection or metastatic disease, but come and help me develop that programming that really addresses your needs. And that's what we really want to hear. You know, we're an open door. And this conference, you know, I've heard loud and clear for 2 or 3 years. Actually, I've been at Komen 8 years. And it finally became a reality. And it's because of people who have been in this room, who have championed these efforts. You know, our ED, Lisa Walter, who now recently retired, you know, was also championing these efforts. Our new ED, Megan Klink, who you will soon hear from, and, you know, she'll be at the forefront of leading our organization. But thank you for your support. Know that Orange County cares. All the safety net here cares. And it was about time that we brought it to our backyard. And I'm proud to announce that since the success of this conference, we're definitely committed to going another year. So we'll see you in 2020. Thank you. And lastly, I do want to emphasize that we do need your evaluations. Please take some time, hand them in at the end. And please feel free to take those little plants with you, because we're all growing our garden together. So those are your reminders that we need to continue to water this throughout the year. So thank you again for coming.